कोई psychologist या था psychiatrist हूँ नहीं, but I went through these very traumatic first few years when I moved, and I don't want anyone else to go through this again. I want people to be content in the moment they are in. Salam, merhaba, hello. This is Aisha of Live in La Vida Turca. मेरी छोटी सी तो ऑडियंस है, सबको पता ही होगा कि मैं पाकिस्तानी हूँ, अमेरिका में रहती थी और पिछले 9 साल से इस्तांबुल में रहती हूँ. तो recently I saw a lot of my new friends who just recently moved to Istanbul go through a lot of stuff that they've shared. जो मुझे लगा कि यार I need to talk about these issues, about moving to a new country and settling down, making it home. So I wanted to talk about that in today's video. Even though now there is like a large community of Pakistanis living in Istanbul जो एक दूसरे से connected है WhatsApp पे और Facebook groups के साथ. When I moved here in 2011 ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था, was totally alone. मेरा पूरा support system New York में था. In my best friends, my immediate family obviously, और साथ में the Turkish families that I had made friends जो शादी के बाद उनके साथ friendship हुई थी. लेकिन उन सब ने फिर यही मुझे दिलासे दिए हुए थे कि तुम्हें तो टर्किश आती है और तुम्हारे फ्रेंड्स अच्छी तरह बन जाएंगे और you have a Turkish husband, बच्चे भी हैं, you won't feel lonely. लेकिन nobody told me about the depression I would feel over here, or nobody really talks about it. क्योंकि एक तो डिप्रेशन एक होता है ना कि आप मेंटली एक टायर्ड होते हो, और एक फिजिकल उसके एस्पेक्ट्स भी होते हैं which we are not really taught about इनके बारे में. I went through a lot of these physical things क्योंकि like mentally मैं ठीक थी because I was busy all the time, लेकिन physically जो चीज़ें I started feeling कई अरसे बाद I was told कि यार ये भी डिप्रेशन का ही एक साइन है. So we're going to talk about some of those signs, and I will tell you some of my history, what happened when I came here. One of the common signs of expat depression, which you can also go online and Google these symptoms, was increased irritability, lack of motivation. Yeah, we were busy all the time. We felt that kuch karne ko dil nahi karta tha, like we were forced to do everything. And then there were the physical symptoms, जो body aches or pains or fatigue or like just tired, feeling tired all the time, वो भी था. ये होता था कि you feel like आपके पैरों से बस हथकड़ियाँ बंधी हुई हैं, like you're anchored down और आप उसे खींच के चल रहे हैं. So that was like, it just took your entire energy. बाहर जाते हुए भी you just did not want to go out, you did not want to do anything. मेरे केस में एक दो और चीज़ें निकल आई because I'm so lucky. मुझे हो गया था stress induced asthma and stress induced allergies. Basically कोई भी मुझसे जैसे कोई बात करता था and the minute they addressed me मुझे छींकें शुरू हो जाती थी, मेरी सांस रुक जाती थी. And then we realized कि मुझे asthma भी start हो गया, and I never had asthma. I was thinking कि it's a kind of pollution की वजह से होगा. I went to the hospital for asthma, for shortness of breath, and I had hives. So the doctor actually sat me across from him and he said, listen, beta, कितने अरसे बाद पहले आई हैं? 4 साल पहले आई हैं. अच्छा, so what you're suffering is actually depression. And I was like, मुझे depression तो नहीं है, I'm so happy, लेकिन था. And one of the things that happened after the doctor told me back what I already knew, उसकी एक validation हो गई ना. उस validation के बाद I felt so much better, like for a short time, but I felt really better. Like, okay, जो मेरी झुंझलाहट है and I think I'm like a bad mom. Yes, ये मैं नहीं थी. This was all depression, and it kind of helped me look at myself and the way I acted around people in a different light and say, okay, I was able to take a step back and say, you know what, this is normal for me, and this is expected. It's not that I'm a bad person, it's just the circumstances are such that I'm acting this way. ये सारी चीज़ें anxiety से ही निकलती हैं, because आप पूरा घर छोड़ के आ गए, पूरी सपोर्ट सिस्टम छोड़ के आ गए. You have removed yourself from the circle of friends who knew who you are, and now you're telling new people who you are, and in the meantime you're learning more about yourself too, and context different है, culture different, the way people dress different है. मेरे साथ सबसे मज़े की बात जो मैं बताऊंगी, मैंने बहुत लोगों को ये स्टोरी सुनाई है in real life, कि in the beginning when Bilal was like, my younger one was 4 months old, 5 months old, तो जब मैं, हारून और हमारे बच्चे हम जब बाहर निकलते थे, तो all these women would just give us really nasty looks. I knew. गुस्से से देख रही होती थी, and I was like, what the, क्यों गुस्सा कर रहे हो, like what's wrong? And we just like laughed it off. हमें समझ नहीं आता था क्यों हमें गुस्से से देख रहे हैं, और हम तो बोलते भी टर्किश ही थे ना, like we were not like English Turkish में ही बात कर रहे होते थे. Why are you like staring at me like that? फिर I happened to take the kids out myself. So this is the first time कि मैंने दोनों बच्चों को उठाया और मैं एक मिनी बस में चढ़ी हूँ. So the woman sitting next to me, वो हमारे मोहल्ले की थी, like she had seen me before too. So she just came to me and she was like, she's like, oh, çocuklar çok tatlı, and then they're really sweet. And then she says, bunların annesi nerede, çalışıyor mu? Where is their mom? Is she working? I am their mom. I told her, benim annesiyim. I thought you were too young to be their mom, so you must be their caretaker. Like, I was the babysitter. And tab mujhe khayal, and I came home and I was like, oh my God, Harun, you're such a bad dad. You're having an affair with their babysitter. Really bad. बच्चे छोटे थे. Harun was not employed at that time. अभी वो घर पे था. So I spent a lot of time traveling to Bakırköy. I found a job there. You know, as soon as I actually landed in Istanbul, the first few weeks were just settling down, buying the necessities, and then I started looking for a teaching job. I found one. तो वहाँ पे आने जाने में बहुत मज़ा आता था. You know, just getting on the bus and finding my way to this like अंदरूनी इलाका जगहों में, छोटी छोटी गलियों में स्कूल होता था. So that's how I spent most of the first year, just working, making new friends, learning Turkish, hanging out by myself, learning a lot. I learned a lot of weird things, like bus driver ko kaptan kehte hain, and that the fact that in Turkish you can say half a sentence and the other people will actually automatically just finish the sentence in their head. Aadha sentence bol ke, all you need to learn is half a sentence. So let's say you want to tell the taxi driver or the minibus driver, the dolmuş driver, the bus driver, to stop at any convenient place for you to get off. So all you have to say is basically Musait bir yerde. So the complete sentence is Musait bir yerde durabilir misiniz? You know, can you stop at a convenient spot? But you say half the sentence and the bus driver will know you need to get off and they will stop. You can say pardon to say excuse me, but it's received much better if you say Musade eder misiniz, like would you allow me? So people are more kind to you, and it's a very gentle and polite way. And you might think, Aisha, ye tumhare liye to aasan tha, you spoke Turkish, theek hai? So believe me, when I start talking to other people who have moved to other cities, other countries, mere American friends who moved to Italy or whatever, then they gave me the same feedback. Ki, these are the steps that if you take, your life becomes very easy in any country, not just Turkey, in any country. The first thing you need to do when you move to a new country is just look for a job. Go to your local daycare center, ho sakta hai local, koi bhi aas-paas mein language centers ho. There is the two places that I know कि वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा language centers हैं, खदरकोय और बकरकोय. Just go there, find out. हाँ, ये मैं आपको कह सकती हूँ कि आने से पहले definitely like it's a suggestion, लेकिन कर सकें तो सेल्टा टाइप की चीज़ कोई सर्टिफिकेट लेके आएं, क्योंकि that's going to give you like a huge cutting edge on the rest of the applicants for teaching. तो वहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा मज़े की बात ये होगी कि like if you're working at a language school compared to a daycare, वहाँ पे भी मिल जाएगी जॉब, लेकिन डे केयर लैंग्वेज स्कूल का ये फ़ायदा होता है कि you will find other expat teachers there too. So community मिल गई. Secondly, वहाँ के जो students होंगे they're going to be closer to your age. So you're going to have a lot of fun actually communicating with them. It's not just like you will be teaching them English. You can also, if you become friends with them, if they're like अच्छे लोग मिल जाए, you can actually learn Turkish from them too. और इसी give and take में आपके बहुत अच्छे friends बन जाते हैं. So another step you need to take when you're here is to make new friends. And side note, don't knock the natives. ठीक है? Just get out of that mentality where you want to complain about everything and pick out the bad in everyone. Because when you start complaining about everything, you type of condition your brain to be in this negative mentality at all times. Or for moms, the best thing to do is to find a kind neighbor. What I would do was I would go to the local park at the same time every day, and I would keep my eyes out on other moms who would bring their kids at the same time every day. और होता ये था कि after a few weeks or after a few days even, they started actually looking out for you. कि आई कि नहीं आई, they're interested too, ना? It's एक कौन है, foreigner है. So when you see someone like that who is coming to the park or going downstairs at the same time as you, start making some eye contact with them. उनसे जाके, even though you're not going anywhere, ask them, can you keep an eye on my child? Ask them to borrow a napkin or like a diaper, or take extra toys with your kid and share those toys with them. You want to generate a feeling of community with that person and yourself, because they will start to slowly accept you as a permanent fixture of the park, and they will start looking out for you, and you will hit the jackpot if one day they bring coffee for you, or they ask you to, after the park, let's go sit at a cafe. एक और side note बताती हूँ. You're starting to make Turkish friends, you might notice कि वो अपने घर नहीं बुलाएंगे आपको. So this is a cultural thing, especially in Istanbul. They do not invite you home right away. वो थोड़ा काफ़ी time लेंगे. Even my very good friends, जब हम बड़े group में होते थे, like just एक दो हों तो she would call me over, but when we had a larger group, we would always go to a cafe and stay there. And the other thing is that if you call someone over your home too early, वो भी आपसे भाग जाएंगे because they will be uncomfortable. But don't let the language barrier discourage you. Language barrier क्या है? Body language से सीख लिया करें, समझ लिया करें, communicate कर लिया करें. मैंने इतनी चीज़ें सीखी हैं सिर्फ body language पे. I used to go to my local hair salon. वहाँ पे की एक बंदी थी. Now she is the owner of the salon. उसके पास वेली होती थी, उसके पास टाइम था, तो आई यूज्ड टू सिट विद हर एंड जस्ट आस्क ये कैसे कहते हैं, वो कैसे कहते हैं. वो भी उसके पास टाइम होता था. शी यूज्ड टू टीच मी एवरीथिंग. शी स्टार्टेड लाइकिंग मी टू. और अभी भी शी विल टेल हर न्यूअर क्लाइंट्स व्हेन आई गो देयर कि ये जब आती थी तो इसको कुछ पता नहीं था, ये ऐसे पॉइंट करती थी तो हम समझ जाते थे कि इसने क्या कराना है, ये कराना है तो वो कराना. बट she became a really good friend of mine because she was teaching me everything. कोई चीज़ खरीदनी हो तो she would tell me यहाँ जाओ वहाँ जाओ, और यहाँ से यूँ कहो तो ऐसे खरीदो. So if you don't have kids, just go to the local hair salon. देखो कौन वेला बैठा हुआ है, उसके साथ दोस्ती कर लो. When you want to explore the surroundings, just get a metro card, pack a snack, and set out to get lost. Set out with the intention of getting lost. कि आज मैंने गलत स्टॉप पे उतरना है, मैंने गलत जगह पे जाना है. क्योंकि होता ये है कि you learn the most about any place when you get lost there. So this is like tried and tested. मैंने न्यूयॉर्क में भी ट्राई किया, ये मैंने कराची में भी ट्राई किया है अपनी अम्मी के साथ, और ये मैंने इस्तांबुल में भी ट्राई कर लिया है कि you need to get lost. If you want to learn about some place, you need to get lost. The fourth thing that I did, settling down, was that I started going to a gym. तो obviously वो natural dopamine release तो आपकी help करता ही है with depression. लेकिन वहाँ पे ये भी होता है कि you start feeling like you are part of a community and you don't have to talk. You just follow the body language. आप Zumba class में चले जाएं, आप yoga class join करने, you don't even know what they are saying. बस follow करते रहें वो जो कर रहे हैं. And वहीं पे then you will learn a lot of things. Like मुझे नहीं पता कि यार काफ को टर्किश में क्या कहते हैं या थाई को टर्किश में क्या कहते हैं, लाइक दीज एनाटॉमिकल चीज़ें मुझे कुछ पता नहीं थी। और मुझे हारून ने भी सिखाई नहीं थी, ही गॉट बिजी, उसकी जॉब हो गई। तो दैट्स हाउ आई लर्न फ्रॉम योगा क्लास। और मैं क्लास के बाद वहाँ पे ना टिकी रहती थी, जस्ट टेक माई स्वीट टाइम, टाइंग माई लेसेस एंड गैदरिंग माई स्टफ until one day finally they invited me over to their cool down routine. Or they're like, oh, send the gal. And I started going there. For the time being, you start feeling good when you belong to a group. Because इंसान है तो social animal, तो हमें एक social circle ज़रूर चाहिए हमारे आसपास हो. And people who are pursuing the same hobbies, who are doing the same thing, activities ho. So the other things you should do when you're in a new country is like just pick up a new hobby which can be helped by being in that country. जो आपको कोई चीज़, आपको मसलन इस्तांबुल से कोई चीज़ बहुत आसानी से मिल रही है, उससे रिलेटेड कोई हॉबी भी स्टार्ट कर सकती है. These were the steps that I took trying to establish myself. And like I said, like after a few years, you start feeling your whole life is here. Because even though you have created a new support system here, they deserve your attention as well. So stay in touch with them, message them. If possible, if not in every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, go back to your home country. And I'm sure that one day you will wake up and you will say, okay, you know what? I'm happier in my adoptive homeland. I'm sharing all this because मैं कोई psychologist या तो psychiatrist हूँ नहीं. But I went through these very traumatic first few years when I moved. And I don't want anyone else to go through this again. I want people to be content in the moment they are in. So, live in the moment, enjoy it, know its value. आप ऐसी position में हैं जो दुनिया में बहुत कम लोगों को इस तरह की कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है कि where they can move to a new country and learn a new culture. ट्रैवल सब करते हैं, ठीक है, ट्रैवल सब करते हैं, लेकिन ये किसी और कंट्री में जाके रहना is totally different from just visiting it as a tourist. I do hope this video was helpful to you, that I was able to provide some, helpful information after having moved to Istanbul. Do like and subscribe the channel and leave a comment. Please let me know if there are any questions that you have and you would like me to answer about life in Istanbul. You can also follow me on Insta for my daily activities there. Enjoy your days in Istanbul. Take care of yourself. Live in the moment. Hoşça kalın. Goodbye.